Hola community, welcome to BlenderToday Live, the last one from 2025. This is a bit of a goodbye, but also to see what's new, because it's been 1 month since the last episode. Lots has happened, although we are in this end of the year period where for the last couple of years, developers have focused on making things to, making some time to make things more tidy, more clean, more quality, adding to the documentation. In general, it's called the code quality project, but it doesn't only affect code, but also documentation and pretty much all those things that throughout the year you wish you had more time to work on, which it's bad to have that all at the end of the year, but it's a good thing that it's happening. Also, a bunch of bug fixes or going through the bug reports, for example, for a specific area. This is all per module. Each module has its own group of things that they want to work on. For example, in the user module, user interface module, we have the human interface guidelines. In the modeling module, I think they really want to focus on some of the bug fixes. There's so many bug reports on the modeling module. But yeah, yes, sorry, I'm in the chat. Yes, I'm home. I'm sick, so I'm still recovering from some flu. I don't know if it's that the super flu they're calling it, but it feels very super for me. Right on time for my holidays, my time off. But oh well, so I decided to do this live stream here from home. There might be technical issues. I ran into some technical issues, and so let me know if anything goes. It's a bit off. Let's see. So I have some setup, something set up here. I would like to start this episode by remembering someone from the community, a developer that has contributed so much over the years, about 10 years. Germano Cavalcante was a part of the Blender community, active part of the Blender community, and then at some point started contributing code, and then became a Blender developer, like a full-time Blender developer. And in Blender, you will definitely use tools that Germano worked on. And unfortunately, we heard sad news that Germano has passed away, and we would like to remember him. So this episode goes to you. There is a nice blog post that you can read on blender.org about some messages from Francesco. And so yeah, some of the memories. He was from Brazil, and if, for example, today you start modeling something in Blender and you use, he worked on many areas in Blender, but if you, for example, use anything from the snapping tools, like something as basic as snapping, as in basic that you use it all the time, this is part of Germano's work. So I'd like to send big hugs and good thoughts to the family and friends, everybody who loved them. You will be missed. Let's see what's new in Blender in the latest changes that have happened over the past month, because it's been 4 weeks. There has been about 700 changes I would like to cover today. And you know, I always say that, hey, we don't, or I didn't have time, or it's the first time that I heard about a specific feature. Well, this time is actually true because of the technical issues I had. There are many of the features that I will just see for the first time. I didn't have the time to, if you're familiar with the show, I usually go through all of the changes and then I mark some of them with like an emoji. And in this time I couldn't do for many of them, so I will. Some of them will be the first time that I read about it, so you're gonna get some of the nice reaction. And so yeah, without further ado, let's get cozy, sit down. I'm gonna get the headphones on too. I'm at home, chill together, and see what's new in Blender. So I do have some of the setup here because I used to do the live streams in Spanish from home. Although I don't do anymore. If I would, I wouldn't have any of those issues. Let's start with A for animation. In the animation, there's more work on performance. Actually, last time we talked, there was some improvements on performance. This week there is a few small ones. For example, in this case, average time for frame measurements when having many bones in an armature from 0.051 to 0.025. So micro or mini, not micro. Optimizations across the board, also for relative shaky evaluation. This one actually a bit more, from 3.64 milliseconds to 244 milliseconds. So things take less time to calculate. And there is one more that improves layer blending, like animation layer blending. And you may ask yourself, it's like, hey, what do you mean the animation layer blending? There is no animation layers. Well, the system supports animation layers, the current system, it's just not exposed. So this performance improvement, you're not gonna notice any difference because Blender only deals with one layer at the time of writing this, reading this, but it's good to see that the system underneath supports it. Let's go with a quality of life improvement in A for Asset Browser. This is so nice, and this is a contribution by Tobias from the community. Fuzzy search. You know what's fuzzy search? It's clumsy typing. This is so good. Have you ever? Well, you probably ran into this. Everyone does. Just, you know, mistyping while searching for something. You may know this from other parts in Blender, such as searching for nodes. In geometry nodes, Compositor, any shading nodes, you can type, you can be a bit more forgiving when typing. You can just type missing letters, or you can also type the first letter of a word. And if you're looking for a node that has, I don't know, two words, you type the first two letters, and then Blender's gonna match them. That is called fuzzy search, as in doesn't need to be exact. This concept has now been ported to the asset browser. So now you can search for assets without being perfect. As in, for example, in big libraries like in Polyhaven, for example, if you can now search for tags, you can combine tags, you can search for pretty much anything. It's so nice. Search used to be super precise, not anymore. And there's more work actually on this coming up. There is already some things that developers are mentioning that could be improved in the future. But already this is great. So thank you, Tobias, for working on this. But yeah, this was tested with the Polyhaven Asset Library, which uses tags quite a bit. And in Blender, before this, you couldn't even search for like a combination of two tags. What's that? Yes, you either had one tag or another tag. You couldn't search for like wood, old. Now you can. So cool. I think fuzzy search should be everywhere. Although I thought this PR would be easier, as in it would land earlier. But yeah, it's different, right? When you are searching for nodes, you want some behavior. When you're searching for assets, you want something else. Maybe you want specific, you want to search for material, for texture, for resolution, for different aspects. So yeah, it's good to see that this landed. Awesome. So thank you, Tobias. Let's go A again. Let's continue with A for assets. And there's a combination of improvements in labels, reports. When importing an asset, Blender now gives you a little message, a bit more useful message actually, when it can't find something specific. Let's see if we can find the actual report. Ah, no, it just passes the information to the report. So actually Blender will show a notification telling you when appending or linking, if something fails, you're gonna know about it. Hey, nice, thank you, Blender. This one by Julian. The asset shelf catalog, when it couldn't find any applicable asset, it would tell you no applicable asset, but that's not always correct, because sometimes it would be that there's just no catalogs to display. Now, better labels in there. The Compositor assets have better descriptions and also better alpha. This is a bug fix actually, so this might show up in, well, no, that's it. There is no 5.0.2. I think just 5.0.1 is there already, right? If we go to blender.org, download, yeah, 5.0.1 released on December 16. Have you updated already? I wasn't here actually. It was my birthday. It was the day after my birthday, on Tuesday. Last Tuesday. Nice. Let's see. Next. A4 audio. The maximum allowed bitrate, it has been increased from 384 kilobits per second to 2448. Nice. This allows high fidelity audio for 5.1 and 7.1 surround audio. Neat. The bitrate values are clamped for codecs that would fail to render. Makes sense? Also, the bitrate property is now not drawn for lossless codecs as it's not used. Nice. Ooh. The PR says 8,000, but the commit says 2,000. Which one do we believe? I only believe in code. Let's look at the code. It doesn't mention, only for low values. Oh, 2048. Here it goes. Nice. Thanks everyone for the nice comments. I am reading your here in the chat here. Is everything okay? There's a bit of music in the background, which I hear, but I don't know if you do or if it's bothering you. Please let me know. Someone is stuck in 4.5 LTS. Oh. Always looking forward to the new feature getting into LTS release. Well, the next LTS, 5.2 LTS coming up next year in at the middle of the year, around July. That will be the next LTS, which I think is gonna be pretty big because of all the things that are getting lined up already, or that didn't make it to 5 and gonna land in 5.1. I think it's gonna be quite a release and a big upgrade from 4.5. Let's see what else has changed here. So BLI, yeah, BLI. There's some changes, some internal changes that sometimes they like ripple throughout Blender and make for some pretty nice optimizations, like this one by Campbell. Optimize array hashing. It doesn't say much, but if you look at the commit log, this is something that I use all the time. So much so that, for example, with this change, edit, mesh, undo is about 20 to 30% overall faster. So that's pretty huge. And I guess it will also apply to so many other things, right? Any kind of, when you perform an action, when you go back to the action, if you have too many vertex, layers, UVs, and so on. Super nice. Let's see what else. Building changes. Oh yeah, there are probably a lot of library changes this week too, because we are in VFX platform. We are entering 2026, which is the time where many libraries are updated to the industry standard, right? What the industry of the VFX wants to align to use. So in this case, Python 3.13, Qt 6.8, we don't use Qt. NumPy 2.3, that's huge. OpenEXR 3.4. Overall, I think OpenBTV 13. Alembic still stuck in 1.8. OpenColor.io 2.8, Aces 2. Nice. Catching up. The big one I think is C++ 20. In terms of development. Nice. Let's see. What else? CMake. Cleanup. So many cleanups. I think there is like over 100 something cleanups. Some of these changes are larger than others, but some of them are things that were long in the... Okay, something wrong. I'm trying to scroll and you notice that how it jumps. Okay, let's hope it's fine here. Okay, CMake. Wow. Let's see. Compositor. Let's see. C for Compositor. Forward compatibility for the composite node. What is this? Oh yeah, the Compositor is so the Compositor changed a lot in 5.0. The composite output no longer exists. There is now group input, group out, group output. Sorry, I'm still sick. So the group input, group output in the Compositor allows it to be reusable, allows it to for Blender to implement in the future, not in the future, in the present, the VSE, the video sequencer compositor modifier, or in the future, scene modifiers. Why not? Or to use the Compositor for image effects, for tools, for example. But anyway, this there was something broken with it, and this has been fixed. This is what is called forward compatibility, which means this fix will be applied to 4.5, and this change will be applied to 4.5, which means that when you have a file from 5.0 and you open it in 4.5, you can save it and it's not gonna break. Let me mute the microphone for a moment. Alright, I really hope that was muted because I coughed my lungs out. Let's continue. Although I like the voice it gives you when you're sick. What else? Compositor. Implement duplicate sequence modifier node group. Currently, when clicking the button to copy the modifier node tree, it does not get copied to the one that gets created. Ah, yeah, I remember this. Yeah, this was very inconsistent. It's one of those things that you think they work by default, but no, they didn't actually. The duplicate is a bug. So the duplicate compositor used to make a whole new tree. Now it actually duplicates. Nice. So thank you, Ramon, for this. Next, allow non-single values in relative to pixel node. This also is a kind of a bug fix. So users were expecting that if you connect relative to pixel, something to relative to pixel that is not just a single value, for example, a mask, it wouldn't that it would work, and it should work, but that didn't work. So that has been fixed. So thank you so much to whoever fixed it, probably Omar. Yeah, Omar. Thank you, Omar. Next, add file output node in drag search. The file output node is missing in drag search. This is because it has no default sockets. Makes sense. So we need to introduce a custom gather link search instead. Ah, nice. Good to see it. Let's see. Optimize group input node. This patch optimizes the group input such it avoids redundant copies, which is almost all case. Yeah, performance improvements. And gracefully handle undefined nodes and so. Yeah, have you ever noticed how the compositor, if he had some sockets or nodes that were not compatible, broken, failing, it would fail the entire composite and not anymore. Nice. Undefined nodes will just return a 0 default value, but that's it, and the rest can continue happily. Sometimes you could probably notice that some things will be broken. I guess if you're doing like a multiplication between two layers and one of them is broken, so it will be black, and then multiply on top of anything will turn it black. Okay, let's see. Core. Add basic. So, okay, I think I'm in, no, core, I didn't find anything. Why is it jumping back? I think this is just getting confused because I have here, it's, I think it's just getting confused. So here, preview, let's see. Thanks for the happy birthday. Okay, cycles. There is a few changes in cycles. Make HipRT the default. Nice, just so we get enough testing before we ship 5.1 with this. So you see, they're asking for testing. HipRT. Improve compilation time of tricubic interpolation. I think this has to do with metal, with Mac. So compiling cycles, compiling shaders on cycles, it should be now much faster. Or I don't know if it affects everything, but this has been tested on a Mac. And another one also is keep compiling surface nodes for volume if it's not used. This is a huge change, actually. Something that used to take 114 seconds to compile, now it's like half the time. Super nice. Cool. It varies from time to time depending on the from kernel to kernel, but good to see it. That compiling takes less time. It only happens the first time that you run, that you open Blender and you save the scene. This change shows CPU only name under cycles devices for CPU. This has to do with APUs. APUs, this like combination of CPU and GPU. Blender would show the entire thing, CPU and GPU, which could be confusing for some users. And I think it will now show just the CPU name, so that's not confusing anymore. Let's see what else. And I think here I start to go in the section where I haven't read the changes yet. That's why you don't see any emoji next to the change. So this means that we'll find out about this for the first time together. And I'll have to read the titles to see that I'm not missing anything. Documentation, I usually skip it. Draw code, I usually skip that too, because unless there is some optimizations, like I think this might not be, no, this is just an internal change. A very important one, many changes, but it's not really affecting our day-to-day. Let's say that way. EEVEE, let's see, EEVEE. Let's see, I guess all these changes by Clément, Yorun. Lots of optimization stuff apparently. Split forward pipeline to its own frame buffer. Okay, so splitting changes inside 280 lines added. So allows to accumulate the radiance and transmittance without rendering to the combined buffer. So optimization. I think after EEVEE Next, many people have reported issues on performance, and many people are just staying in 4.1 because of EEVEE Next, which appeared in 4.2, and that's not great. But you know, EEVEE. The problem with EEVEE Next is maybe it landed too early, and in 4.2 is an LTS, which is still active, yes, and it's just too much. And the problem with EEVEE Next was that maybe it landed too early, but also that EEVEE Legacy is just so good because it was really old and it has been tested a lot, and it's really like it's older. Even Legacy is older than 2.8. 2.8 just was the first version with it, but it's much older, so it's understandable that the code was needed some refactoring. Add support for transparent BSDF through shader to RGB. Oh, ooh la la, that sounds interesting. Let's see the actual task. SPR adds the ability to get the radiance behind an object using the shader to RGB. The result of this operation depends on the type of material. Dither material with ray trace transmission off will sample the nearest probe. With it on, will show dither materials. Blended material would show the dither material. Interesting. This wasn't possible before. Yeah, using the shader to RGB would just not calculate anything. So cool. Trinumedia says that this is so good and now can revive a 3-year project that I had to pause when 4.2 came out thanks to this update. So only thanks to this? That's awesome, good to hear. Happy birthday. It's possible that we were born the same day in the same year? 15 December 86. Oh wow, yes, Paradise. That's exactly when I was born. Not the same time though, I guess. Awesome. And your dad's birthday, Julia. Sad to hear that. Hugs. Felipe says, what's your favorite Linux desktop environment for Blender work and general use? Over the years, I've been just being more, I just wanted to work, and I just use whatever comes with the one that the distro that I was using, which is Fedora, and I use Fedora because it has the latest GNOME, and yeah, so just a big fan of GNOME because of the simplicity and the ecosystem of tools that it has and apps that it has. But that's about it. Let's see what else is in EEVEE. Changes GPU scope, add material pipeline states. This PR adds pipeline states for precompiled all pipelines when creating EEVEE materials. For now, it requires Vulkan with dynamic vertex state to work. So performance improvement, it should be slightly faster. On some cases, actually much faster. The Rain Restaurant blend file opens in 8.19 seconds when it used to take 12 seconds. Oh wow, and the barbershop interior, the one from the HN327 Open Movie project, takes 10 seconds when it used to take 24 seconds. That's huge. This with Vulkan and dynamic vertex state. So I guess an extension that only some Vulkan graphics cards have. That's amazing. Awesome. Thank you, Jeroen. Huge. I guess OpenGL is not affected. It's a Vulkan thing. But it would be interesting to see. Okay, so what was the case with OpenGL? Are we at that level yet, or was it super slow before? Add glossy reflection evaluation to planar probe capture. Oh, nice. Glossy reflection evaluation. Wait a minute. Planar probe capture can now do glossy reflections. Oh wow, this was a huge limitation for the longest time. Yeah, people seem very happy about it. Oh wow. It's great. So there's some comments here. The previous version was only evaluating every BSDF as diffuse or translucent. This gave glass objects a very dull and unrealistic look. I remember, yes. This commit only evaluates 2 lobes for reflections and 2 for transmissions. It's more than enough. I guess for performance reasons, yeah. It's a good compromise in look, performance, and shader variant compilation time. Yeah, that's the thing, that the more capabilities you add to this, to reflection of a reflection of a reflection, then you have more variants per shader, which means another compilation, adds compilation time, but it's also another shader variant, which might limit the total amount you have. So cool. Wow, nice. I thought they were just only working on optimizations, but they're also adding some features here. Really looking forward to when we could have fish eye in EEVEE. Let's see. Optimization of point cloud object drawing. Instead of wasting CPU to prepare time, buffer triangles to draw. Okay, let's actually look at the videos. So this is before. There's a point cloud before. It's around, I don't know if you get to see it now. It's 9 seconds, 9 FPS, around 9 FPS on something that looks like galaxies colliding. And this is, so that was, wow, 18, 19. That's amazing. Over twice as fast. I want this blend file, by the way. Really looks like some galaxies colliding. Wow, that's crazy. Twice as fast. Nice. And less memory. About 4 times less memory usage. That's amazing. Wow, thank you, Ilya. Faster and less memory. Point clouds. Replace the angle computation in shadow code with cosine. What is this? Computation was not needed. Okay, so optimization. But they don't mention any numbers, so I guess it's not that big of a deal still. Great to see. Let's see, F for FFMPEG. Add option for custom CRF value. Okay, so you can pass on an option. Add the option to manually input a custom CRF value for video codecs that support CRF value. This PR therefore introduces an additional custom quality option, which allows the user to directly set the CRF value using 0 to 1. Okay. With 0 being the lowest possible video quality and 1 being lossless. This not only allows the user to select the values between perceptually lossless and lossless, it also makes it possible to fine-tune the CRF value once a satisfactory range has been found. That's pretty nice. Flexibility, yay. So it's a new property called custom constant rate factor. Nice. Not even that big of a of a PR, because just adding an option to something that FFmpeg already has, just exposing it to Blender. That's amazing. Let's see. Bunch of fixes. How's the chat going? Oh, the post. Yeah, the post. Sorry, it's in Blender.community. Oh, I'm not logged in, am I? Oh yeah, I am. So let's go to Blender today. Oh yeah, somebody made the post. Thank you, Daniel Lapalm. I'm gonna copy the where's the here the changes, so I can actually, something broken with the YouTube embed. I'm sorry. But at least you can watch it on YouTube. Okay, so this now has the list of changes that I've been going through, and you can leave your questions there on Blender Community website. I'll try to answer them towards the end of the show. Let's see. Fixes, so many bug fixes. Not gonna go through all of them, through any of them, but I don't want to miss anything. So Ghost, let's see what is in Ghost / Wayland. Add no native pixel support to Win32, X11 and Wayland. Blender by default uses the native pixel size for high resolution displays. So if you have, in fact, actually the screen that I am here now, this is a high DPI, it's 4K, and Blender should should consider this default as thick, in theory. And what else? There is an option to override that. Interesting. In Windows, X11 and Wayland. Show a useful message when when for Wayland only build. Detect the Blender fails to start with a Wayland only build and X11 is available. Just showing a nice message. This one is support using GNOME's button layout preferences. Since Live Decor respected those preferences, moving to our own. Oh yeah, client's CSD, client-side decorations. The first step to get client-side decorations, well, the main step is to support it across to all platforms. One of the platforms that is really missing this is on Linux, and support for this is being added. So might come at some point, not too far in the future. The client-side decorations are this, basically. So these buttons here, I'm on Windows 11, unfortunately, and these are client-side navigations. The idea would be in the future that Blender could have its own, just to gain some more flexibility. For example, these 3 buttons could be here at the bottom as part of this. And then the path could be in the bottom status bar, for example, when not using it, when you're moving around. A lot of this information could be a bit more compact. So then you gain these precious pixels back in your life. Which you can actually use full screen and go full screen. Let's see. In the GPU section, there's so many changes, but usually these are all mostly cleanup. I don't think we will see many things that are gonna change our life. Shader tool, renaming, retool, rework. If I missed something important here, please let me know. Let's see. Oh, there is some geometry node stuff changes. Support finding nodes by warning message. Ah, nice. So if you specify a warning message, now you can search for that. That's cool. Control F. Search now also allows finding nodes by search. Like, this is the message. And now it's gonna show up in the search as well. That's pretty neat. I like that. Nice. Thank you, Jack. Add minimum stretch unwrap option. Add the minimum stretch, yeah, slim, the default one, the old one. Option to the unwrap node. The patch also adds the no flip option to the minimum stretch option. That's so cool. So basically, the UV unwrap now can use the great changes to unwrapping that were added in 4.3, including the no flip. Nice. It's so cool. Thank you, Ethan. Register separate operator for each node tool. Is this user facing? Reusing the same operator type for all node tools is stretching the limits of Blender's operator design. Okay, and now this is going to be a separate for each node tool. Okay, I think it's also for future proofing. And when there is invalid or duplicate operator names in the interface, this will be reported to the UI. Nice. Asset creators building tools to share are expected to choose a unique name, and local node group names are unique within a specific file anyway. Okay, so you heard that. If you make something to share, make sure that the name is going to be unique. Or try at least. Awesome. Let's see. GL... no, there's one more. Bone info node. Wow. This is huge. Harry. Hey, good timing, Harry. Hey. Show up. Harry Lentz. Bone info node is gonna change absolutely everything. Is it though? Yes, it is. It will. Wow. So you can basically access pose stuff. No? Pose, local pose, transform pose, rest pose. All the poses. And the rest length. Rest length. What is the rest length? Why is it a length? Interesting. Okay, let's see. It adds a bone info node. It takes an armature object and a name input, which are all actually inputs, no? Yeah, the armature object and the if. Wow. Mainly to avoid redundant outputs and to avoid needlessly breaking. Okay. More outputs can be added as we get more confident in them. It adds this patch adds a depth graph dependency to the entire evaluated armature instead of just the bone. But I guess on the other hand, if you have many of these nodes, should be all calculated at once, right? Wow. Ah yeah, there was a mention in the blog post. More or less what actually got landed in there. That's awesome. So what are people making? I haven't been on social media in a while. What are people making with this? Wow. The beginning of rigging nodes, in a way, kind of. Not really, not to rig, but at least to combine what you can do with posing actions with geometry nodes. Although it kind of is, because it's the first time you access this kind of information without a hack like the new constraint, geometry constraint. And Harry says, nothing in this life will ever be the same again. And I believe him. So nothing will ever be the same. GLTF, remove the use of use nodes. Okay, small, just catching up with the use nodes removal. Grease pencil, allow all remaining. Okay. One note regarding the use nodes while you're here. So, question. Did you know, well, that reason not that long ago actually, in the Compositor, the use nodes option has been removed, right? That's all fine. I don't think anyone's gonna miss that. Although some people did say that they miss that a way to disable the Compositor altogether without actually having to select everything and mute basically. But that made me think that not many people know about the post-processing panel compositing. And maybe that's because the use nodes used to disable the actual evaluation of the nodes when you change frame or so on and so forth. Whereas this option only affects the output. So when you render, save output, or export. So do you think that this option, the compositing option, should also disable the evaluation of whatever I have here in the compositor? So in other words, right now, if I have a very heavy node here, like a calculation, right, that uses, well, maybe I need to render first, but if I have something in my scene and then I run Compositor, even while this thing is off, the compositing is off, this will still be calculated, and when you change frame, it gets calculated every time. Both this and the viewport. Sorry. Do you think this option should like disable compositing altogether in the entire scene or not? That's my question. That's it. Long story short. Let's see. Because today we had that we had a conversation like that with Habib and Dalai, and my reaction was that yes, it should. Let's see. What else? We were talking about G for Grease Pencil. Casey implemented this that says allow all remaining Sculpt tools to sculpt Bezier handles. Oh, nice. There were some tools that still didn't support Bezier handles. Where are you? This PR implements the following tools: randomize, grab, pinch, pull, twist, and clone to work with Bezier handles in Sculpt mode. Awesome. The strength and thickness tools already work, and the smooth is implemented in this other PR because it has a different logic. That's amazing. Thank you, Casey. And the last change in Grease Pencil is by Folk, which says improve draw performance at beginning and end of stroke. This avoids retriangulation of the entire drawing at the beginning and at the end of drawing a new stroke, as well as the update of the primitive tools. This, wow, in a test file with around 277 field strokes and 50,000 points, it reduced the computation of the cache from over 1,800 milliseconds, so that's a bunch of milliseconds, so almost 2 seconds, to less than 0.1 millisecond. So instant, basically. Wow, that's kind of huge. Let's see, let's look at the video. Nice, thanks for making a video. So this video by Folk should show how slow things are. Although if it used to take 2 seconds. Oh, I'm moving the mouse just so you see that it's not that the stream is choppy, it's just the tool is very choppy. Wow. Okay, in other words, unusable basically. And now I am expecting the batterist. Yes, look at that. Wow, okay, so it went from unusable to... That's amazing. So what was the issue again? Why was it so bad? Drop performance at the beginning and at the end of the stroke. Huh. Wow, it's huge. It deserves all the happy emojis than it can handle. It's amazing. Thank you, Folk. Huge. Low-hanging fruit even. Is really a low-hanging fruit? That fruit was heavy. Let's see. That's it for Grease Pencil actually. Let's move on. internationalization stuff, add Norwegian. Oh, Norwegian language has been added. Introduce VVH export option to sort bone child no name appearances. Okay, bad title name, bad commit log. What does it do? VVH export option to sort bone child node and name appearances. Okay, nice. So when exporting VVH, now you can choose to sort child names alphabetically. Nice, awesome. Next, mem. Add new mem array to free allocation. I guess this is internal change. Yep. macOS, and for macOS, 3 changes by Jonas. 1. Animation player zoom window size fix and key binding improvements. Wow, the animation player has gotten some improvements. That we don't see very often. So the animation player is what happens when you press Control F11 and it opens the like a mini blender basically. But it's still Blender. It's a mini blender. A follow-up. In addition to now taking into account native pixel size when resizing the window, the command key now can be used for the plus and minus resize binding. Ah, nice. Yeah, because, well, it used to be control plus and minus, and on macOS you use both control or command. Yep. Let's see. Allow extensions to request camera permissions. That's interesting. Blender app would like to access the camera. So an extension can now access the camera directly and properly, and macOS is going to ask you for permission. I've never seen an app asking for, well, maybe because it wasn't implemented, duh. That's cool, awesome. Thank you, Jonas. And the same, I guess, for system audio capturing permissions. Similar. This commit asks it require permission for extension scripts to be able to request system audio stuff. And it was literally a 2-liner. One of them as a description. And then, that's awesome. That's great, awesome. Thank you, Jonas. Next, fix on make, but mesh. 2 changes. Let's see. M for mesh, store clone and stencil UV map status as strings. I guess it's an optimization. Yeah. Setting mistakenly not written to files. Oh. Which is why the DNA is removed here. This property is see very little use, but keeping the per mesh storage was preferred. Yeah, part of the overall restructure of where to keep things. Add snapping to the interactive. Oh wait, no. This is modeling. I'm getting ahead of myself because I really like that one change. And this, no, optimizations. Metal, add back support for non-program point size. Wow. No, I don't think this affects us in any way. It doesn't make our life as good as the bone info node. This too, though. Let's see. M for modeling. Add support for snapping to face center. Oh, nice. Actually, there is a new snap mode that positions the snap transform target at the geometric center of the hit polygon. Why is it down there? It should be next to face, no? Face center. And edge should also be there. I guess it makes sense. And it wasn't there because edge and edge. Oh, this is great. You can snap to the face center. Today we were talking about snapping, all the work that Germano did. It's good to see this feature. It's been requested 4 times on right-click select, apparently. Snapping to things are still overwhelming and confusing to navigate. Okay, yeah, this feature request, you see, I cannot make this mark as done because so many options. Snap to face center. Yeah, this one I can totally mark as close, done. And I can even mark this one here. So you're looking at a bit of the behind the scenes. Awesome. Oh, this mark as processing. Oops. And I guess I need to mark it as published. This is a bug with this that we need to work on. So add snap target face center. Again, this we can mark as done. So cool. Actually, somebody added it there in the same place. I guess that's why it was also added. Maybe the developer was just following the mockups, right? That's cool. And 5 years ago, somebody also requested, it feels good to close these many right-click select posts. Will 2026 be the year where you actually finish the making of a new platform? Because we still have that message up here about communities will be soon be discontinued, even though this was written like in January 2024, so it's gonna be 2 years. We haven't gotten around to working on it. Okay, that's amazing, awesome. Nice, thank you, Tariq. And the next one, add snapping to bevel. So bevel operator, this operator from who knows how long, now supports beveling. That's so cool. I made this task some time ago, 3 weeks ago actually, on request by Hjalti from the Blender Studio. He just dropped by, he's like, hey, am I missing something? But I press Control and bevel doesn't snap. What do you mean it doesn't snap? It does snap. And then it found out it didn't. So now it works properly. Good to see this done. It's one of those things that you imagine that it's already done for so long. Let's see. No, and for notes. Node Wrangler, add start frame property to add image sequence operator. Add image sequence operator. This patch adds frame start property to the node add sequence. As the title implies, once the property is set, you don't have to constantly keep changing the start frame. Nice. Contribution by the community, by EEVEE. Once a property is set, you don't have, okay. Let's look at this video in full screen. So you add an image sequence and now you can specify the start frame. Ah, that's cool. So it's like to do it before, adding it before. Maybe you don't want to add the whole sequence. Nice. Additional check for availability of next socket before adding spacing. I guess this improves the positioning. Spacing was being added if there was another output socket, but it didn't check if there was available space first. So if we I guess it's one of those small things that yeah, it just looks slightly off, and now it doesn't look slightly off anymore. It's just one of the small things. Add boilerplate for multiple new data block socket types. Okay, multiple new data block socket types. This seems to be like a spoiler of coming socket types: font, scene, text, mask, and sound. That's big. That's a big spoiler of what's coming up. So I don't think this has been implemented yet, but it's good to see that this will be landing soon. Allows exposing the font in the string to curves node, for example. The scene, useful for the compositor to select view layers. Wow. which also new nodes and sockets in the Compositor. Text, to use with geometry nodes. Allow exposing the mask data block of the mask node in the Compositor. Sound, allows accessing sound data in geometry nodes, useful when finishing up this other one. Damn, the future is bright. Ah, yeah, the Google Summer of Code 2024, remember? That there was some work done for to support sound in geometry nodes, like the animation nodes. Sorry. All right. Remove use nodes for lights. Oh, was this the last one? I think texture nodes still maybe use nodes. Remove use nodes in the shader editor for lights. Lights will always use nodes, though the node tree can be empty. Well, like in EEVEE, right? EEVEE doesn't support nodes yet. The default node tree has no effect on the behavior of lights, so backward and forward compatibility is preserved with the extra nodes. Nice. Let's see. Let's see if it's even worth mentioning. The outliner one. Skip 3 elements if it's not in the collection. The operator will focus the view on the first element, show active with the matching ID. This is especially useless, problematic when the active object is not in the parent collection. Okay, so an optimization to either show or not the show active operator in the outliner. Oh, what is this? Infinite grid using line draw. Ah, this was one of the issues that the grid, I heard it was giving some issues. There were some reports also on performance that it was making things super slow. From scratch in re-implementation of the viewport infinite grid, I elected to use line drawing instead of the existing pixel shader. While the old grid worked well, it had many bells and whistles, and I found it quite hard to untangle from that point. The goal was to have a visual match, but further tweaking to alpha and colors may be needed here or there. Is there any before after? Okay, so it's faster to render now. About 40, what is US? It's like milliseconds, nanoseconds. The grid is run several times with additive alpha and C offset to create a smooth fade in and fade out. The grid fades into a steeple line pattern at low alpha to address problems with some parts of the overlay. Okay. And I guess at some point this will make it easy to bring back the regular non-infinite grid. I've seen some requests, and actually I made a pull request, a design task, to be able to specify the limit of the grid. What do you think about that? This is a feature you miss? In Blender 2.7, the grid was limited to whatever subdivision number you would set with a limit. And in 2.8, it became infinite. But I think there's value in being able to define, okay, this is 64 by 64 or so. Okay, let's see. Let's move on. What else? Add UV edge opacity slider in the non-UV editor. This PR adds a UV edge opacity slider to match the UV face opacity slider in the UV editor, which controls the wireframe opacity outside of edit mode. Okay, this is how it looks. Okay. Would be nice to have a picture though. Gonna ask Mark to gonna mention this too, that it would be nice to have a picture for these kind of changes. But I can imagine it's like the wireframe overlay in the UV editor. Let's see, P4 Paint, improve canceling stroke support and expose debug options in the UI. Interesting. So this one, prior to this commit, the paint stroke mode cancel was only valid for Sculpt mode. Okay, but now it's also for paint. So you can cancel stroke and it should be more responsive. Makes the behavior explicit by adding a warning if the key is used in an unsupported mode. Nice. Adds an explicit parameter to indicate if a stroke is being cancelled or not, so that the undo steps are not erroneously created, and adds support for cancelling texture image paint strokes. Nice. I had some times where you would draw maybe a bit too big of a stroke with a texture or something that's super slow. Now you can cancel that. Cool. Nice. Thank you, Sean. And the last one is on this section is the expose debug options in the UI. Paint PVH, no drawing. Ah, nice. They're making use of these developer extras. A few versions, like in the last version in 5.0, when developers can enable developer extras, and this will add a section called developer tools with dedicated options that they can add without actually messing with the experimentals or not. Before, the experimental setting was only exposed to users when developer extras was on, which made things a bit confusing. And they're unrelated. One is for developers, one is for users, which can happen to be developers or the other way around. Cool. And this debug option will show how long, tablet debug info, like pressure, sensitivity, and so on. That's nice. I wonder if it would work. So let's see, if I enable developer extras, experimental, developer tools, paint debug, I guess this is the option, painting debugging, and I drag the pen, and I'm in texture paint. I guess I can't even, okay, let's see, vertex paint is easier. It's not updating. Use paint debug option has been added with this enabled, should throw entries. For drawing the paint PVH, an option in the user preferences input has been added. There is an option in the actual preferences input. So input tablet, show tablet debug values. Oh, nice. So I guess if there, do you see it? It's in the status bar. Maybe I can make this a bit bigger. In the status bar, now when you draw, it tells you the pressure sensitivity. Nice. That's handy. That's good to know when things, to see if is it Blender that it's not listening to my pressure sensitivity, or it's the driver, or it's me, or what is it? Cool. Nice. Awesome. Thank you, Sean. Was risky to do that check in the middle of a live stream. Not recommended. Let's see. Python API, Unbreak Python 3.14 build. Okay, so it is possible, even though Blender will ship with 3.13, Blender 5.1. It's good that it works with 3.14, Python 3.14. Python, introduce disk file hash service. Introducing a way to efficiently hash files and to check whether a file on disk matches the unexpected hash. I have a feeling this is for the Remote Asset Libraries project, yes, or online assets. In the future, this system will also be used for BAT, the Blender Asset Tracer, V2 project, which is used by Flamenco to make sure that the files are in good shape. Awesome. Nice. Let's see. RNA, couple of changes, all internal changes, refactors. We're not gonna go through the refactors. S for Sculpt, expose simple VVH cast raycast function for active element retrieval. Okay, it's something internal, but it could potentially enable things in the future because it's a function that allows to access information of whatever is active as you paint, as you draw. S for spreadsheet, support showing object values. All right, it's not needed in main yet, but it helps with experimental branches. Interesting. The spreadsheet showing other than object properties, but actual objects. Interesting, okay. So not only attributes. It's kind of a big deal. S for subdiv, avoid function called overhead for phase propagation. Sounds like a performance improvement. Indeed, 1.2x performance increase in overall CPU subdivision performance. Nice. Nice, thank you, Hans. There's some tests, and U for UI. There's a number of changes in the user interface, snapping, and improved feedback for image operator view zoom. Oh. When resizing in the image editor using control wheel, adds snapping to even or 10% increments while control is held. Yes, I actually reviewed this one. It's one of those things that you think that just exist already. So when zooming in the image editor, let's go to the to rendering. Let's render, and then if you hold Control, now Blender will snap. And I don't know if you notice up here, but now as you zoom in, Blender shows you that. So can you believe Blender went over with like 32 years without showing you the percentage of the zoom that you were in? And without snapping, now if you hold Control, it will snap to actual values. That is awesome. Does it work with this widget too? Yes. Amazing. So it's something you need to get used to, because when you use the shortcut Control middle click, you are holding Control. So it means that you will be snapping by default. So it takes a moment, a brief moment to get used to it. I just noticed now. But why wouldn't you want to snap? You just release Control and then it just don't snap. Shift doesn't work though. Shift for precision zooming doesn't work. And I think we could show, if you're holding Shift, it could show more decimals, because you can actually zoom in between percentages. So it could show you at least 1 or 2 decimals if you hold Shift, maybe for precision. Yeah, I'm just getting picky here. Awesome, that's amazing. Thank you, Harley. Next, UI, don't break playhead. Ah, yes, look at this. Have you ever noticed when using subframes that the playhead was completely off when dragging in between? So the line, the big line, would, you could place it in between 2 frames, right? A subframe. But the playhead would only snap to whole numbers, 2 frames. And yeah, it looked very off. Now, not anymore, thanks to Christoph. Now this just, it works as you would expect. But not only that, it also shows you the 2 decimals of the subframe you're in. So you can actually see in the playhead, because this number was only a I think we're back. Or not. I will just pretend that we are. So I was talking about I was moving around a scene, an empty scene, and Blender just, well, the whole computer just crashed. So we're back. The next feature that I wanted to talk about, thanks for holding tight during the live stream. The mention was unbreaking the playhead, which is super nice. Then let's continue, because we're almost there. We are so close, and this is the last live stream of the year. So UI, bring back progress bar for file and asset browser. These progress bars have been broken for a while. Really? I actually, yeah. I remember that when the items in the asset browser were loading, there was a progress bar. Yeah, they're gone. Not anymore. Nice. The radial control operator now shows information in the status bar about the things you can do with it. Cancel, size, resize, snapping, precision mode. Nice. Thank you, Sean. Wow, speaking of resizing, this is amazing. Do I have a Blender running here? Yes. I happen to have my own 3D software here. I'm gonna open it. And how many of you use quad view? As in, I'm very curious, because are people using quad view? Quad view. I'm gonna make a poll. Do you use quad view? Because in Blender you can go to view, area, quad view, or Control Alt Q, and now for the first time in forever you can now just snap. You can resize, even hold Control to snap, and yeah, that's it. That's the whole thing. But I wonder if people are actually using it. No, 76% people don't use it, which means 20% of the people use it, which is pretty big for a feature. I don't know why I asked though. I'm just curious, because I never use quad view. I have a feeling that it's something from, what other people coming from other software do, which Blender never had it, or does quad view have benefits? Depends. Yeah, it has tax benefits and health benefits. No, it doesn't have any benefit. The only benefit it has is that you get to, like, if you need multiple views, right? You're working and you have your character, you want to see it from multiple views, that you can have that without the thick, like if you want to replicate this on a regular layout, you have to split it by hand, right? You have to go here and to split it, and then you end up with like 4 headers and 4 toolbars. No, I think this one you still have, but these headers, for example, then you need to go here and hide the header for this particular window, and you still end up with a very disconnected layout. Whereas see, the difference is huge. And also this tells you the different point of views. I don't know why this, I mean, you can't do much here. Actually, we could. Do you think we need? Actually, I think it would look cooler without the Christmas tree here. Because this is just repeating the same thing over and over. And it only changes one active view. The other ones you can only zoom in and out. That's the whole thing you can do. It's very useful. But I I think without the Christmas trees, I call this Christmas tree. Without the navigation control on every on every window would actually maybe look better. Yeah, sorry, Christmas tree. It's not the spirit. I call it Christmas tree all the time. Let's see what else. So thank you, Harley. Capitalization of quad view and report message. Small things, just a fix in the tooltip. Don't show progress bar, cancel button if it's not cancelable. Oh yes, so many times I tried to cancel an action that it wasn't possible to cancel. Actually today I ran into an operation in the progress bar notification that I canceled and it never canceled. It was still canceling forever and I had to kill Blender and start it over again. What else? Area movement, sub snapping, attrition, height. Oh, nice. Actually, this one I'm going to, okay, maybe I can show it here, but it's better to see it in action. All right, so 25% of the people use quad view. That's a lot, more than I expected. This is awesome. Snapping in Blender in the window. So this was added by Harley. He also added snapping to it, and he also added snapping to this, the actual windows, the areas. They are now snapping to accommodate for specific regions. So in this case, right, we have the timeline editor, which has a header and a this seeking scrubbing area. So when you snap, Blender will snap to only show these two by default as a minimum size. You can snap further to just show the header, which is super handy. If the editor doesn't have that scrubbing area, like text editor, it's not gonna snap to that. It's just gonna snap to the header. Okay, I picked the worst editor because this one happens to have a footer, but it's not tailored. Never mind. Let's look at something, an editor that has three very important sections: a header, a scrubbing area, and a footer, like the graph editor, right? The graph has, or the dope sheet. The dope sheet has the playback controls, header, scrubbing, playback control. Blender will now snap to three, having all three open. Nice, so you can click drag, or if you go one more, you can actually snap to, there you go, to, I managed to break it somehow, to these two only, or if you want, you can hide the header and Blender will snap to have the scrubbing and this, which is, I think I've seen a setup, I've seen some people using this kind of setup, which is interesting as a choice. For example, if you have the image editor, here you have the maybe the compositor or the node editor, and then you end up with this layout. You can now snap and then have this. Actually, this kind of setup is something similar to how some people do compositing with the image editor and the render result. Some people do compositing this way. Here they have the nodes, and here they have this. But I don't know if we need this at all times, the animation. All right. Merry Christmas. Thanks, everyone. Looking at the chat. Thank you. Let's move on. Let's see if we can... What else we have here? Center align, non-overlap header text, status text. Yep, so when the text in some... So in Blender 5, when you transform something, you have this text up above instead of being aligned to the left. This was the case in 5.0 for any editor that had overlapping regions, like region overlap. So in this case, the header is overlapping. However, places like the dope sheet or any other 2D editor, it would still show the values on the left side. And based on user feedback, apparently it's fine to have it in the center. I guess it's more unified. But yeah, that was actually a design decision that I took when I implemented. Okay, I think this should be back. And let me know if it's actually working or not. I think it should be okay. Something happened when I was, something maybe with the drivers. I haven't updated this computer in a while, so maybe something with the drivers, because it happens very specific when I am doing some oops, that's loud. Some very specific changes as I move some items in the Blender UI. So I don't blame Blender. Blender is just fine. It's something with the drivers, I think. So yeah, let's go back, tune in. Okay. How have you been? Thanks for the patience. Let's move on, shall we? And not even open Blender. I'm not even gonna open Blender. Let's see the remaining changes, because not that many actually. We're in UI. We're almost there. The header status text has been aligned. The camera restrict icons has been also changed slightly. Instead of having an X, and these are the camera icons that you may recognize from the outliner, from the modifiers. The X in them, in the icon, it was a bit weird because we don't do that anywhere else. It means that it's supposed to mean that they communicate that the render is disabled, but we don't use that language anywhere. So it has been changed to be outline and field, which is a language we use everywhere. So that should be the case. Sorry, I was looking at the message. Don't forget about the music. Turn on that background. Sleep not to relax us. I do have music in the background, but I have it very subtle at 30%. Maybe I can do 35. I don't want to bother too much. Maybe you can't even hear it. OBS tells me that it's around -35, -30, which is but yeah, the problem with the X is that it looks like something you can cancel, you can press, you can, it's an operation other than the render. Small thing though. The monitor icon was misaligned. It wasn't centered. Now it is centered. The user fonts, UI, show user fonts with system fonts. Oh, nice. On Windows, when looking at the list of fonts, it's now gonna show both system fonts and user fonts together. Nice. So when you're viewing, when you're browsing. So this patch makes Blender do the same thing as the operating system, combining both folder into one. Nice, small thing. Next. USB drive icon for Windows. This PR adds icons for USB. Oh, nice. So now we have an icon that looks like, yeah, like an SD icon drive, and then like an SD external and a USB stick. Support search on key press when adding a new workspace. Yep, you can now type to search for workspaces. So it could happen that you have your own, but I think type to search should work everywhere where it makes sense. In most places it makes sense. In this one in particular, because people can have their own specific workspaces, and within those workspaces or templates, and then within those they have custom workspaces, I think it's important to show. Now you can search. Nice. Although I wonder, how does it show? It probably shows the, can search. Yeah, nice. It shows the template and then which workspace, because for example, geometry node, compositing is available in multiple templates. So good to see that. Next, that one by Jack, yes. Replace leave decor with client-side decoration for Wayland. That was what we discussed in the past. Small thing. But not that small once it affects all of the platforms, right? But for now, it's just supporting Wayland. Support filtering by repository in the extensions preference. Oh, nice. People have been asking for this. Cool. By Nick. So you can now search, filter all repositories or a specific repository at once. Nice. Good to see that, this one. People have been asking for this feature for a while, because if you're working with in a studio, for example, or you're developing, you want to see only the ones, those, for example, if you're developing the VS Code development repository is the one that has the one that you're working on. So it's good to have that filter by default. Good to have that. Yeah. Some people have been asking for this to be different though, to be like a list, like a UI list where you can toggle each individual repository to be on or off. I think that can be a bit confusing. It's much more flexible, of course, but it can be a bit confusing because we already have that UI for actually enabling the whole repository, not just for viewing it. So what do you think? Next, allow using panel categories to define sections generally. What is this? Panel categories to define navigation sections generally. What is? Allow using panel VL category to define navigation items more generally, not just for tabs in the sidebar region. Okay, never mind. No user visible expected. This is for project settings. Okay. I guess this is, yeah, no user changes so far. No visible changes. Default, save modified images checkbox to enabled. Wow, that was enabled. Yeah. Prior to this commit, the save modified images checkbox when closing a file would remember the previous value from when it was modified, leading to an intuitive behavior. The dialog box was open, modified, then the operation cancel. This commit resets the value and creating it. Oh, nice. Yeah, I never noticed this. Small change, but yeah. Awesome. Thanks for that one, Sean. I guess this comes from a commit. I know, it's part of another task for image texture autosave. I remember this task. Glad to see that it's being implemented. Refactor workspace screen copying code. Okay, no user. This should be a refactor, not a UI refactor. Implements and adds back support for copy pasting workspaces. Okay, so it was crashing at some point to copy paste a workspace. All right, last in the UI section is reduce size of the marker region. Yep. The marker region was quite tall and it was taking a big part of the actual section, so it was actually leaving you with less space for activities in there. Nice. So with this patch, the actual size is reduced by 6 points, aligning text with the marker icon so it doesn't jump. Yeah, because even, well, so when it's active, there is some difference between the name and the marker and the name of the marker. Now that delta has been reduced. Nice addition. More compact layout. Let's say U for USD, allow cancellation during object creation and tidying up progress calculation. Nice. UV, select UVs in a specified tile operator. Select UVs that are located on the requested tile. The initial tile is the position of the 2D cursor. Oh, nice. It's a feature request from right-click select. Select UDIM tile. Nice. So this adds a new open. Hate my life. Okay, so not using Blender, not opening videos full screen, and that should get us through the rest of the remaining of the show. Let's see. It even got cold. I'm sick, and 2025 was going great, Blender-wise at least. And in terms of, actually, I came back with the live stream this year. Look at the message that I'm getting with this. Everything is broken. Anyway, so if something broke when I open a video, let's not open video. Let's just look at text, right? Text and just chatting should be enough. Let's not scroll too hard. Maybe maybe the graphics card is having a hard time. Who knows? Let's see. Look, done, touch. Mr. Robot mode on. Okay. Let's see. We were in user interface. Allowed using default reworking. USD. Actually, we were finished with USD. Oh, UVs. We were actually looking at the select UVs in a specified tile operator. So you can look for, you can select UVs on a specific UDIM tile. That's amazing. That's amazing. We didn't have that before. I wish I could show you. And you have to picture it here. Select UV specified. So thank you, Ethan. Unit tests, also very useful, but not super interesting for most people. Video sequence editor. Oh my gosh, they are actually new things. Let's try to get in the mood. Wow. Echo sound modifier. I don't want to repeat myself, but there is an echo sound modifier to the video sequence editor. The actual echo effect calculation code was recently added to outer space, so it can now be used. And there is actually someone from the community on the sequencer module chat that's implementing their own like wrapper on top of another library, which seems to have many more effects and a bit more flexible than Blender's outer space. So we might see a new library coming up soon, which would allow, because one of the things that the sequencer team wants to do as part of the whole story tools, it's and storyboarding and so on, is to have some, for example, a push to talk, a button that you can press and it will start recording your voice, so you can make some mock-up dialogues for your animations very quickly. That would be awesome. So let's hope that comes soon. Anyway, you imagine the echo here. Echo. I'm not going to risk clicking on this and having to restart again just in case. But yeah, on the video. Because it happened when I moved to full screen with the video. So something with my graphics card maybe, or the drivers. Add meta strip volume. Wow. You can now change. It's currently not possible to change. Okay, but what is possible now? This PR solves this problem by implementing a volume property to the meta strip. That's amazing. So eventually we could have volume controls per channel as well, right? That's so cool. So it was a right-click select post, which is now marked as done. Awesome. Neat. And Aras actually marked it as, that's awesome. Amazing. Thank you. Add search entry in add menu. Oh yeah, the add menu didn't have the search indicator, even though you can search inside every add menu, but the sequencer didn't have a search entry, so now it has. Nice. I think Pablo gave up on what? People, wait, sorry. What happened? Stream back on already, Roman. Sorry, don't, I'm here. I'm seeing you, I'm reading you. But maybe you need to refresh the page. Somebody mentioned. Let's see. UI consistently named sync feature. What happened? Did we miss sync time? Sync active. Oh, we missed sync active scene. Yeah. A property, usually the properties get renamed over time as they are implemented, and in this case the label wasn't updated, so now it is. Although I think this is not needed anymore. Like in Blender, if you don't specify a text, then it will just use the whatever is here in the property. So I think this is redundant because it's adding one more thing to translate, which is not needed. So I'm gonna leave this open just to remind myself to mention it. Move strip time related functions to DNA, so a refactor, I guess. Stream Python API, add sequence timeline, change number. Okay, so yeah, so it's an internal change. And this is a Python API addition to access the number of a channel from Python, which wasn't possible before. I think you had to use maybe the index, and it's not the same. It's not explicit, so it's good to have the number. So the index can stay the same, but maybe the number of the channel can change. Box texture in Blade tool, awesome. I love this one. I love it. So you know how the Blade tool allows you to cut specific times, right? You open the timeline, you click, 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 cut. Well, what if you could, with the same tool, instead of pressing to cut on a strip, you can click, drag, and it will draw a box of things to cut in that. I run into this that many times, especially when recording. For example, if you're recording a tutorial, right? You're recording the screen and then you're talking over, and then at some point you make a mistake, you wait, you record it again and again and again. So those gaps of silence, you want to remove it. And some of the other software have a tool dedicated to remove silence gaps, but sometimes it's just easier to just you know that this chunk you want to remove. So now you can actually with one tool, the box tool. This is amazing. It was implemented by Ramon Clouk of a task that I made a long time ago. So this is how it works. Look at this beautiful thing. So you click, drag, and it just cuts it. There's no preview of exactly what is being gonna cut, but that's being worked on. It seems to be a big refactor to be able to do that. The gap of what you removed, it will be removed by default, but you can hold Shift before dragging to keep the gap if you want, and that will preserve. It will leave like an empty space. So cool. If the box is at the side of a strip, the amount to ripple is the distance from the left handle to the right side of the box. Yeah, once we have the preview, it will be much cleaner, much easier to see. Sorry. because it could happen. I made I think I added a note once. Yeah, my proposal is for it to look something like this, where, because if you're in between, if you drag in between frame 213 and 214, which one are you actually cutting? Yeah, anyway, super nice. I think I ran out of, yeah, everything is falling apart. Except Blender, look at this. This is awesome. Amazing. Thank you, Ramon. I'm looking forward to using this feature. And I like it because it's part of the blade tool, which is already exists. So blade cut, blade click drag. So it's not a new tool, it's just the same tool. Just depends on how you use it. I like that concept. And I actually haven't seen it in other similar editors of reusing the same tool. Add missing keymap items to industry compatible. Connect strip toggle, duplicate move linked, retiming. Interesting, they were... No, retiming menu it was set to I. That's not... No, I wouldn't have that, because this is the industry compatible keymap. And I think on every other editing software, I sets the input. When you do I and O to set the input and output range on video editing software, right? So Blender should maybe keep that. Yeah. How about the other shortcuts? I don't know what is used in other software. I should check. I'm gonna leave this open too here to remind myself to have a look. Next, set preview frame to opposite side when moving the blade box. This PR addresses the problem that is currently not possible to see in the preview on what frame the opposite side of the box is. Huh? I'm gonna risk opening a video. Ah, nice! As you move with a spacebar, you can now actually preview live. That's cool. The problem is solved by changing the preview frame to preview the other side of the box when moving the box. That makes it possible to see where the box is moved to. Nice, awesome. And last but not least, add snapping to metastrip range. Dispatch adds snapping strips to the metastrip display range if snap to frame range is on. It only occurs if the user is currently inside of a metastrip. So basically snapping to metastrip, which wasn't possible before. Awesome. Then, all right, that's pretty much it. I think we have some Vulkan changes, which I'm not gonna go into, but just know that people are working on Vulkan still. And then XR. Let's see what is added in XR. Prevent displaying an initialized error? No. Cleanup? No. Navigation scale system improvements. To allow VR scene inspection to work with scenes on widely different non-realistic scales, this commit improves the VR navigation scaling logic by adding a new property, allowing the user to modify the VR view scale. Oh, nice! So you can actually have a different scale for VR, so you can pretend to be an ant or bigger or smaller without actually having to change all your scene. That's great. An offset option is now applied to the viewer position on view scale changes for the user to remain at the same world position. That's so cool. Nice, awesome. Thank you, Jonas. Next, decouple XR action operator handlers from main window handlers. This commit fixes a long-standing issue within the Blender XR event where having any sort of model handler running in the main window would block XR actions. Nice. Arc teleportation, ray drawing, and functionalities overhaul. Ooh. And let's hope there is a picture. Yes, nice. Screen recording demo, pictures, everything. One of was complaining recently because when I worked on the release notes for 5.0, there was no pictures related to this feature, which is so nice. So this is the arc navigation, so you can teleport to a position with the VR controller. Now there is this very nice indicator, and this has been reworked. So let's look at the video. Nice. Okay, so I assume you cannot jump to when it's red. Or, okay, so it's purple when you can. What does it mean to be purple though? Did you jump out? Okay, have to get used to it, to the color language, to the language used for colors. I guess not bad, because I was thinking maybe just the contact point should be changed color, right? But no, because the whole action is prevented. Red when wall, yeah. That's it. Increase teleportation arc control points amount, clean up use of macro. This increases the number of control points used for generation from 12 to 24, effectively raising the length of the initial arc used for scene ray cast intersection. This fixes a small usability issue where the arc could sometimes be too short to reach its targets when aiming straight up. Nice. And that's it. Cool, good to see. Let's see. That was it. Actually, that is the end. We reached the end of everything that is new in Blender for the last month in only 2 hours. It's almost 8 o'clock. And I started at what? 5-ish. All right, let's look at the questions. Let's hope there's not that many. 13, okay. Let's see. Let's go and go all the way down, expand, load more. Let's see. All right, let's start from the bottom. Kay Hillman says, have some water. Hola Pablo, from Rotterdam, here, neighbor. I'm in Amsterdam. Blender is in Amsterdam. First time commenting on the forum. Do you think Blender will ever look into developing tessellation-free displacement mapping for cycles? Just like Redshift recently implemented. I would love to delve into the possibility of contributing. Oh, you contributing it, as in coding it yourself. Well, you could jump in the chat. Chat.blender.org is the overall chat of Blender developers. There is a channel for each module. There is a channel for cycles and rendering, and you could actually ask there, as in, hey, I'm thinking of coding this thing. Do you think it's a good idea or not? Before I even start. That would be awesome. Thank you. Sorry. Yolan, how's cheers? Hola Pablo, happy late birthday. Thank you so much. Feel better soon. 2 questions. Can brush assets exist in more than one catalog? Yes. Well, technically when they're nested, I want to have an alphas catalog, but also a ZBrush catalog, but also a favorites catalog. Well, I think so. There is some work coming in this area though, for being able to specify multiple locations, as in not just catalogs but menus also. So there will be work coming on soon. Love the cuffed shirts. More than one family member also tried to order shirts from store, but were informed they were not available. It's often said the store was challenged to manage. But isn't there enough demand to make it profitable revenue stream for Blender? Then yes and no. I mean, it's hard. We never had a really good store since since the people in charge of the store retired. So sorry, I'm really hitting my limits here with the voice, and I'm getting a bit tired. But the store, yeah, that's for many other companies. People managing the store is a full-time job, which Blender cannot afford at the moment, and sorry, cannot not afford at the moment, but also takes so much mental space. Like, you need to hire someone for, right? You need people that are also trying to hire developers or communication people, also trying to hire store people. It takes a very special set of skills for to manage something like this. But you would think that there are more store managers than 3D rendering developers, right? Because it's more common. But it's hard. I don't know. Do you think it would be worth it to have someone full-time working just on the store? Because it's someone that needs to pay by itself, and yeah, and bring some value. Let's see. Blender console window is high. Whilst Blender console window is not closing until we close the whole software. In which operating system? Martina, hi Pablo, how are you? How are you doing? But anyway, if you have an issue, please report the bug, because that way Blender developers know which operating system you're using or what could be going wrong. Let's see. Hi Pablo, how are you? Hope you're doing well. Thank you. I am a bit sick. It's a shame that Blender doesn't have the option to turn off automatic grid subdivision in orthographic views. Other programs have no problem with this and can configure the grid with any unit system. Yes, there is a feature request for that on right-click select, but why don't you ask about it again on stream? Ask what exactly? It's a shame that Blender doesn't have the option to turn off automatic grid subdivision in orthographic views. I mean, it's not really, I don't think it's complex to do. Is that a feature that people want? Link to the right-click select post. But I assume yes, that's something that people want, I guess, to disable infinite grid. Slow Kid says, Hola Pablo, wanna pay homage to you for BlenderToday, to Germano Cavalcante for his work and contribution, and to Blender for his awesome 5.0 release. The future of this software looks brighter every year. Thank you, Slow Kid, and thank you for remembering Germano. If you are just joining the stream, Germano Cavalcante is a Blender developer that passed away recently. He was working on the modeling and stamping section of Blender, so you definitely use his work. And there is a message on blender.org where it's being remembered, and you can see it here. Let's see. I mentioned it at the beginning of the stream. Sheldon, Pablo, good to see you live again. How are you? Hope you guys and your family enjoy the holiday new year. Question, are there any updates on the animation layer system? Hoping it comes out next year. Also, where do we give feedback on new features in development? Thanks. Usually for feedback, it's on DevTalk, the devtalk.blender.org forums. The animation layer system, there has been an improvement today on performance for layers, although even though Blender only uses one layer at the moment. But yeah, work continues on that. At the moment, one of the key developers on that area is working on assets, online assets. So yeah, unfortunately there is only so many developers that can work on these things. But it's definitely something that we will continue to be worked on. Because the system is in place, just needs more work. Fire says, hi Pablo, hope you get better soon. In one of your previous streams, you mentioned that anyone could share their geometry node asset. I created my own text animation asset and would like to share it. Please list the steps I need to so I can share my asset. Nice. I haven't shared this anywhere yet, but I'm all set to do this. Especially relevant in this if the string to curve node is updated in 5.1. Thank you very much and Merry Christmas. Thank you. What is this? Easing, fall off, bend deformer, instant deformers, text, string, holes, randomized characters. Oh, nice. I think once we have the online assets, this would be good to have, as in to have maybe a dedicated place, because we still have to, like, for this to be in Blender, we also have to define, okay, what is that Blender needs at the moment, what is the style of the thumbnails, for example, to use. But yeah, definitely. List the steps I need to so I can share my set. At the moment, I think the best will be just to share it here, maybe on BlenderToday, with the community, just to get some feedback, or on other forums like on Blender Artists or other forums. But yeah, appreciate sharing. Gendavec says, hi Pablo, are there any optimizations planned for scenes with a large number of objects, with tens of thousands of objects? Every action, such as deleting, everything becomes slow. Happy Christmas, thank you for your long-term work on this amazing piece of software. Thank you. Yes, the large number of objects is a topic that always gets addressed, and actually in the survey for last year, there was one topic of handling more content or heavier files, and that partially has been tackled with 5.0 by allowing bigger data block types and buffers and stuff saved in the blend file. But the optimizations that you can see on every show, on every of the live streams that we make, there is always optimizations going on. So it's always a topic that is in the agenda. If you have a very specific file that has that is super slow, maybe share it, as in with the community. Maybe developers can have a look at what is making things slow. Like for example, the change that was done today by I shared today by Folk on Grease Pencil. That's huge. That went from 2 seconds to instant, and it scales up, right? So maybe some of those are low-hanging fruits. Share it, as always, whenever you can, share it, or report it as a bug. It's especially if it's a regression, if it used to be fast and then became slow. Let's see, that was in the Blender 2025 theory. When we getting the results on that, by the way, Pablo? Oh, actually, Francesco just spoke me today while I was doing the live stream that he's sharing. Actually, it's published, I think. survey.blender.org. Yep, the results of the 2025 surveys are out. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to share this because it has been tweeted. So I just received a private message about this being public. And maybe I wasn't supposed to anyway, now you know. Now you know. Survey.blender.org. I mean, it's only, how many are we at the moment? 100 people. Only 100 people. Maybe don't share it everywhere yet. And we're gonna tweet and Mastodon and Blue Sky about it when it's ready. But have it as a sneak peek on the results. I'm curious about the results though. So the demographics, age, country. Oh, there were some questions about AI. I'm curious about what people said about AI. The first time we asked the community about AI. So what is it? Artificial. So let's see what people think about AI. So the question was, do you currently use AI? No, and not interested. Holy crap, nice. I like you, community. 30%, 0.69. No, and I'm not interested. However, as many people, just 29%, no, but I'm interested. Okay, cool. So most people are either not using or they're not interested. And then 20%, 19%, yes, occasionally not aware of the tools. People that are not aware. And some people, only 7% regularly use AI in their work. Interesting. Wow. I mean, some AI could be nice in Blender, as in, like, for the geometry nodes, like, just make me a nice bevel. Now, don't make me add 30 nodes just for the, just for this one thing that I want to do, or for. I mean, I guess you could say that with other things too, right? But like UV and wrapping, just I don't want to UV and wrap, just AI, do it, come on. All faces are similar. Which AI tool? LM for coding, image. Okay, anyway, go have a look at this. So how do you use AI with Blender? Scripting automation, I guess. Concept art generator. No. Gen AI. That's the worst AI. Anyway, go have a look. Survey.blender.org. Let's move on. I'll leave this on. iSaven says, will we ever get back the shadow pass? I'm not just finding a replacement that's already there. Shadow catch is pretty annoying for contact shadows in product render. No, I don't think so. I think the moving forward, it's just the shadow catcher should be improved. But I don't think the shadow pass would come back. But I mean, if more people think of that way, just make some nice. Post it, ask in the chat, get other people, make a right click select post, get both votes. Okay, Jack Rocky says, someone mentioned at the start of the stream that Redshift had implemented tessellation-free displacement, and if Blender will look into implementing, hopefully for both cycles and EEVEE. Yeah, someone mentioned this. Actually, the first question. Next question. Hope you get well soon, thank you. Since Blender 4, there has been pushes to implement Animate tools into vanilla Blender. Yeah, because the creator of Animate is a Blender user working at on DreamWorks. It's a great guy. Into vanilla Blender, but some features have never been implemented, like the animation offset and animation offset masks. I've been using the add-on version for these features, but it broke in 4.0. The community has made a fixed branch, but any hope that these tools getting officially into Blender? We also have time frame for animation layers. Not this, not the second part, but for the first part, I mean, it's I didn't know actually that there were that many options still missing from Animate. I wonder what's the limitation. So something again, maybe we can ask in the chat, because the creator of it, Ares, should be fine with implementing that. Okay, last question. No questions. I wish everyone a nice holidays and at the end of the year. Thank you, Daniela Palm. Thank you for making this thread, by the way. That is the last question. And how's the chat? So good? Okay, nice. Did you back to Argentina for the holidays? No, actually, I'm not going to Argentina this year. I have my family over. My mom is coming, and we are spending the Christmas here in the Netherlands, and yeah, would be fun. Haven't only 3 times in my adult life of all the 17 years that I'm here in the Netherlands working in Blender projects in general. Only 3 times. This is the 3rd time. The first time was for Caminandes, the 3rd one that I stayed here. I really wanted to work on the project, so I stayed. The 2nd time was COVID, and this is the 3rd time. Actually, just by choice. I hope you have a fantastic holidays if you celebrate it, or at least some time off if you don't celebrate it, and maybe it makes a good excuse to have some nice food, some time to chill. Maybe there is a Blender project that you wanted to work on, or a feature that you've seen today that you want to try out, a tutorial that you wanted to follow, just making your computer crash like I did. I hope you had fun today. I did as well. We'll get together actually not too long from now. When is it? 23rd. I haven't defined yet which one will be the next day that I will be around for this, but technically it should be the 6th of January, which sounds about right, which is the Reyes, the 3 Kings. I don't know if they celebrate that here in the Netherlands. Don't think so. That's a Spanish thing. Anyway, I hope you had fun. I did. Have a great end of the year, and maybe it's a good time to have some New Year's resolution, 4K. And I will see you again in the next year, in 2026. The year of Blender 5.1, 5.2 LTS, 5.3. Hopefully big projects like texturing in Blender, that it has to be the year. It has at least starting the project, you know, like the last part of the whole package of asset creation that still requires add-ons, and that should be, well, no, you could say the same about physics. Come on. Oh, okay. It's the last part of asset creation that is missing. So I hope that can be tackled next year. I want to thank everyone for the campaign. Actually, the donations campaign went to like 10 times over what we usually get in one-time donation. So that's a huge push for Blender to stay independent and not rely so much on external companies and corporate donations, which are great, but not as great as having thousands of people supporting the project. So thanks about that. That's it. Thanks for hanging out and for your patience for dealing with all my technical issues. I'll see you again next year, same place, same time, for another Blender Today live. Have a fantastic holidays. Bye. Okay, thank you. Feliz Navidad.